meeting is called to order. Meeting is called to order, Southampton Town Planning Board, Thursday, December 20th, 2018. The Secretary will call the roll.
Chairman Finnerty.
Present.
Vice Chair Blaney.
Present.
Secretary is present. Board Member LaFaro.
Present.
Board Member Zuccarelli.
Present.
Board Member Long.
Present.
Board Member Burke.
Present.
We have a full board, sir. We are ready to go.
Very good. Could we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any minutes to?
No, the Christmas elf didn't get the minutes
Oh, boy. Okay.
done this week, so.
So what we're going to do then is we're going to close the regular.
Actually, you don't have to. The work session's off the agenda.
There we go.
Merry Christmas.
So we'll say Merry Christmas. Let's just set our planning board meetings for 2019. We're correcting the agenda. It says 18, but it should be 19. And they are listed, and so do we have a motion to set the board meetings?
Motion.
Motion by Gloria, and second by Jackie. All in favor, aye. Opposed, abstentions. We have.
I want to point that we'll be lucky enough to spend Valentine's Day together.
Hearts and flowers.
That's right. Okay, so it says 7 yes, full board. And Claire, where are you taking us?
I have two items that are for extensions of the secret deadlines. It's number 12 and 13. 12 is 192 West Montauk Highway in Hampton Bays. The SECRA, last week, you assumed lead agency, and the applicants asked for a month adjournments on the matter. So this would be extension.
Is that the one by McDonald's or the one down further west?
Yeah, the one by McDonald's,
Thank you.
which is the new gas station.
Yes, yeah. We've got two.
Yep.
Vegans.
Is that a type 1?
That is an unlisted action, to the best of my knowledge. Yep.
Unlisted? And we're lead agency on that. Huh?
We are a lead agency, yep.
So it's an extension to what date, Claire?
To the 24th of January.
Okay, very good. Do we have a motion?
The other one's across the board.
Motion?
Motion by Jackie,
Second.
second by Robin. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions? 7 yes. The second is Edgewater Motel.
And then, again, this is an extension for 1 month till January 24th for the secret consideration.
Very good. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Gloria, and second by Jackie. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions? 7 yes.
And then I added number 16, which Phil is going to sign.
16 GD Farms. Okay, it's acknowledged for signature. Anthony, that's it.
Are you
Thanks,
coming
Claire.
back, Claire, at some point?
I can come back.
Yes, I have a question for you, but not for open session.
Anthony.
Anthony?
Before we, I'm just going to go a little out of order because I have Ed here. Just real quick, number 9 is off the agenda.
Okay.
Kim Judd couldn't be here, so we'll put that back on in January. Number 11, 10 Lewis Road. There's a farm stand on Lewis Road. It's a 40-acre piece. You're familiar with the farm stand. So Ed has gotten grant money to do deer fencing around the property. And so that's what we're here for. It's preserved land. Basically, the fence is going to go 5 feet off the property line on 104, and then around the perimeter, and then in the second phase behind the farm stand to close it off for the deer. It would be 8-foot fence, the typical deer fence detail, and
With all the conditions.
the standard conditions. I had initially asked for a little bit more of a setback, but Ed was, they really use the land there to farm, so the 5 feet is fine for me. And I was recommending approval of the deer fence.
Anthony, may I object? Because none of us could, this end can't
Oh,
see
sorry about
anything.
that. Sorry about that.
We're going to try to make this work.
Sorry, I thought all the things. Sorry. I thought everything was on there. So it's the farm.
Well, I just started to look for it.
It's
A
on.
sign of my property with that address for the deer to go there.
Okay, yes, we can do that. So it'll just go around the perimeter and then behind the farm stand.
Okay, thank you.
Dude, you can search it from up here.
Yeah, that little micro.
Yeah, 10 Lewis.
Sometimes you have to do that.
Okay, so do we have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Robin,
Second.
second by Jackie. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions? 7 yes.
And then I'll get to the Lewis Road PRD, just real quick, 15, acknowledging signature of 575-541. That's the Mercedes-Benz. site plan.
I signed it.
Acknowledged, the record. That's item 15.
Yeah.
Where are we going next?
Then I guess it's, my only other one is the number 5 Lewis Road, TRA.
Okay.
So I had emailed this board, and I gave the applicant a copy. Per our discussion last time, I was asked, we deemed the application complete, pending some mapping items and
You say complete?
incomplete. Did I say complete?
No, you said
Incomplete.
incomplete.
Pending the submission of some mapping items as well as the secret component. I told this board I would prepare a letter, which I did. I emailed it to everybody. I don't know if everybody got it, but I do have a copy here. And a list of potential consultants to assist with the secret review. As the letter indicates, and we've discussed, the scope of services is for the secret component of this project. And I outlined in the letter at the end, there's an outline that says what the services would be. But the key is two very important pieces, is to do the review, to indicate if there are any changes that would warrant the preparation of a supplemental impact statement, and then ultimately through the rest of the process to the adoption of a finding statement. I had given a list of some companies that we can send it out to. Obviously, we want to get, all these companies that I listed are SECRA. They're familiar with the SECRA process, New York State's environmental review process. And I've listed 10 of them on there, many of them that you've seen before. And I'm not really sure how, we go from here. Would we pick, or do I just send them out to all 10? I don't know that.
Anthony, are we just looking at companies that we've used before, then that are local Long Island?
I'm looking at just companies that are capable of doing the secret review. Not everybody, there's some of them on here that do very little work in the town. But
we
the
wanted-
key for
we
me,
wanted a new
for this board, and
wanted a
the
new
key is understanding the secret process. Where they come from, where they're located is not particularly important to me. What is important is that they understand the secret process. and give this
New
board
York
the
State
proper review.
companies. right?
New York State, yes.
Yeah, yes.
I think part of the sentiment was to find someone maybe from outside the area who could take,
Right.
to get a fresh set of eyes,
Yeah,
I think we were
right?
in, I know
In
that was my
agreement.
position, that
Yeah.
I wanted a
Right.
fresh set of eyes on it, I think.
Well,
I'm
what
not
would
going to
be,
speak
what
for
would
any other
be
board
the,
members.
Anthony, what would be the process of selecting?
Well, we would get proposals. They would submit, after they received the letter, if they were interested, submit a proposal with their qualifications and their cost of services. There's a few on there, Dennis, like the first, let me, actually, I'll give you my entire list. I'll use this one. So there's a few of them on there. Chasing companies, they're located outside of, they're Poughkeepsie and some other places up north. KGO Consulting is actually based in Uniondale. Saratoga Associates has offices all over the place. So they're, so there are some that are not, Long Island based, but a lot of these bigger firms have metropolitan area offices in general.
Are there any that are heavier in municipal work, who've done more work for municipalities as opposed to private sector firms?
It's sort of hard to say
I think
because,
the Chazen Company does.
Chazen does a lot of municipal work. Saratoga Associates does a lot of municipal work. I can't speak for all of them, obviously. Cameron Engineering does a lot of municipal work. I've seen them, so. But, I think the board's going to obviously have to get a few proposals in to look at them and see. And by the way, who's interested in taking on the project? Some may just not be interested.
Right.
I just don't, could use some direction about, am I sending it out to everybody?
Well, I think the last two, certainly in Cashin, these are consultants that work with the town. Nelson VHB is,
Oh, yeah, it's just, I forgot what it stands for.
Cashier and VHB.
I mean, they work for
VHB.
town and
I think Cameron
applicants.
also does a lot of work for us.
Right.
They might.
Cameron?
I haven't come across it myself, but,
So I would say that those consultants that are fresh to us
Right.
would be certainly,
That leaves it to 7. Maybe you send it out to the 7?
yeah,
I would agree.
take
Yeah.
Cashin away,
We'll see what
RKF.
comes back, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
that's-
Anthony, I don't recall when I read the letter whether there was a date that you were asking for.
I didn't, and I didn't, and I have to add that into the letter. I know that I have to give them, please respond within an X amount of period. And they're gonna get formal letters. I will email the companies as well, so that way they're getting it, that way we'll ask for, a 2-week turn, whatever it is, I'll
I
make
think you
sure.
mentioned we're picking up the cost on this, but we have a considerable fee with this application. So there's some buffer, right?
I heard the applicant was,
No,
no?
Is the applicant or do we pay for
no, we're
this?
paying for it.
Okay.
But there is a sizable,
Good. so we
there's a
can take
sizable
it.
application fee, I think. That's what we heard at the last meeting.
Yeah, we took a chunk of money in.
So-
To say, we took a lot of money in.
So,
Okay.
Plus the site plan fee.
Can I-
We forgot that, there was a
Right, site plan.
$15,000.
Anthony, can I ask you too, so that we keep it moving and we don't have a problem? Could you also make a personal phone call telling them that the email is coming, the letter is coming, get a contact person there so that it gets to someone's desk? Because this is holiday time, things tend to just
Yeah.
get pushed under. But if you make the personal phone call, find out someone to send it to their attention, in particular, someone you can personally follow up, I think that'll assure that this doesn't get lost for a 3 or 4 week delay just getting
I
responses.
will take care of it tomorrow.
Okay?
Great.
Great, thanks.
Good
That's a
point.
great idea.
Good point. Bill?
and if we send it out to 7 and we get 5 back, what are we going to base our decision on?
On those 5?
Low bidder?
Not necessarily. I think it would be, this is unlike a lot of normal, and I could be wrong about this, Kathleen, don't quote me on this. It's professional services, unlike a standard RFP, and the planning board doesn't, I don't believe, just have to pick the lowest bidder. They have to pick the consultant that is providing the best scope of services, the best bang for the buck, basically, who's going to provide the most comprehensive review for this board based on our proposal, whatever those fees are going to be. If there's something that's so wildly different, we would talk about it. But we'll see what comes back.
I just remember back in the day when I was flying for the Navy, I had a parachute I strapped on every day, and it had a tag on it that said, "Remember, this fine parachute was built for you by the lowest bidder."
Anthony, I think also, in your proposal to them, that we would like several visits with them as opposed to just, yeah.
I'll get that in.
So who's going to
But
make?
it's
they
still,
have to make
but it still costs 10 times as much as a
Exactly.
recreation parachute.
They'll
That's the
have to
sad
make a
part.
Decision from the 5, or?
Yes, this board.
What would they'll just submit what they're going to do and that their price is?
Yeah, in other words, we've
Anthony,
listed what the
scope
scope
of-
of services
scope
is.
of
The applicant is
services.
aware of this too. They have received the letter. They know the scope of services we requested. And they will provide us with their qualifications and, normally this is what they do, their qualifications and what it's going to cost.
And years of service. Years of service that they've been involved in.
Yeah, yeah, their qualifications,
Yeah.
that usually includes a whole thing.
I think we need a consultant.
Consultant for the consultant?
Okay.
If the applicant has any.
Okay, so do we take an action at this point?
No,
No.
it's just
No.
on for discussion.
No.
No, just
Just
Not
discussion.
about
on for
the applicant.
discussion,
Thank you.
right?
I think
I think it's more an internal, I
the
don't.
ball's back in your court. Thank you.
It's not an action until you hire.
Okay,
Ready down.
where are you taking us, Matt?
Number 4, starting with an extension, 56 Ridge Road, Allrath. You guys,
Oh, okay.
give you a packet within a packet, like anything to do, resolutions and reports.
That's page 22 if you're on your laptop.
Yes.
22?
Yeah,
Take one, pass it down.
everybody wants a paper copy.
I want his letter.
There should be maps just so you guys can refresh your memory. A letter of request also for the extension.
Yep.
This is their first 90-day extension request. The applicant did inform me that they went to the health department to either get their approval or exemption, and unbeknownst to them, there was an open health department permit that had never been taken care of. So they're working to resolve that, it's just going to take more time for it to get signed, but this is their first request.
An open permit for the same type application?
I'm not sure, actually, I don't think they specified, but I think the health department, if they hold something
if they have something open they want it addressed before they'll approve anything else.
You would have find out what it is, because sometimes on these open permits, I've
Yeah.
had them happen in title reviews.
Yes.
It could be as to tax map lines, it could be as
Yeah.
to the, this could get
It could get
extremely
hairy.
complicated and hairy. So I think
Absolutely.
finding out what the open permit is,
Definitely, I'll reach out to the applicant
Yeah,
and ask.
I'd
him.
appreciate
Just
that.
get
Thank
some
you.
specifics. But if I had a motion for 56 Ridge Road for the extension, that would be great.
Motion.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Second.
Gloria moved it.
Gloria.
Gloria motions, second by Phil, all in favor, aye, opposed, abstentions, 7 yes.
Moving on to number 7.
Our landscape.
Construction permit,
Page 28.
and I do have paper. Should be floor plans, elevations, samples for the siding.
There you go.
There's also a planting plan we're going to look
Page
at a little
28,
bit.
Jackie.
Yeah, I can't get the page.
Okay.
yeah, the page little thing isn't coming
On the
up.
right-hand side, there's no little
No,
page.
no,
Okay.
I'm happy I'm on.
The bottom of the page,
It's not,
26.
yeah.
So it's packet page? Is that,
Well, it's, no, it's 28 on the computer, but you can't.
Yeah, it's 28.
We have a staff report and a draft decision. I can start with the staff report once everyone gets to it. It's in the paper that I gave you, too.
It's,
It's up to
no,
you.
I did. I was being smart and said
Yeah.
my thing was working, and now,
Right to your right there, Rob.
no, this is, it's in here?
Yes, it's in there.
Okay,
They're all in there.
thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, great.
Once everybody's ready, I'll start on the steps here.
Pass it down.
This is it. We didn't get the big one.
The big one and the smaller
this is
one.
the MacBook Target?
Oh, the same.
I don't believe it's part of Tarnopol, it's adjacent to it, though. Yeah.
We always get a kick out of it. We get this old.
Yeah, Tarnopol's
the-
right to the north of this.
The barn that is in the
This
middle
abuts
of
it.
it?
Yeah, the drive right to the Manor House.
Driveway, yeah.
I said, what the heck is this? They say, that's to our horse farm. What horse farm? Oh, the one we're farming.
Exactly. But if everybody's comfortable, I'll start with the report.
Sure.
So you can see it.
Empty property.
Are you Argo? You know, some people might be here for that. Do they know it's off the agenda?
It's on the agenda still.
Oh, it's on the
Yeah,
agenda.
that's what I'm doing now. All right, the construction permit is for the proposed construction of a 10,800 square foot barn on about a 20-acre agricultural reserve parcel. It's located within the CR 80 zoning district, agricultural overlay district, aquifer protection overlay district, and the New York State archaeological sensitive area. It's at 221 Hayground Road. It's indicated on the site plan entitled Survey of the Property prepared by Saska Surveying, dated March 15th, 2013, revised May 2nd, 2018, as well as the floor plans and elevations entitled J&R Landscaping prepared by James Copenhaver, dated December 11th, 2017. In terms of SECRA, it was a type 2 action. No further environmental review is required. Public comment. The planning board held public hearings on July 12, 2018 and August 23, 2018, which that meeting was adjourned to November 8th. In addition, a 30-day written comment was provided. Comments were received at the public hearing as well as during the written comment period, which are summarized as follows. Comments were received from adjacent property owners concerning the size of the proposed barn, which was described as excessive for the size of the parcel. Comments were received concerning the impact of the commercial vehicles on the common driveway. Comments were received related to pesticide use on the premises and its possible effect on groundwater as the parcel is located within the APOD, as I said before. Comments were received from the adjacent property owners requesting that the proposed barn be screened with vegetation to the maximum extent to reduce perceived negative visual impacts of the barn on their own properties. And then comments were received related to potential light trespass, night deliveries, and increased noise generated from the property. In terms of referrals, we did get referrals from the engineering division on December 12th of 2018. The town engineer's office did call out a number of errors on the plan, most of which have been addressed already. In the application, as opposed to the plan, they kind of multiplied wrong. So originally, they said the building was 6,000 feet and change, but they just did the math wrong. The referrals were re-sent out, so all involved agencies had the corrected size.
10,000.
10,000. There's no drainage provided for the access driveway, which is proposed to be constructed of 8-inch crushed asphalt. Proposed building is located in a low spot on the property. The engineer's office thought maybe some additional drainage may be required just because it's on a low spot, or they'll have to do some grading. And that the application is subject to an engineering fee of $4,750. And just to arrange for a pre-construction meeting, as is typical. Comments were received from the Ag Advisory Committee on July 6th. They found that, nursery stock was grown on site. All proposed building location on the ag reserve conducted to efficient and productive operation of the farm. They said yes, structure is located in an area of less productive soils. They did note that they stated that the building seemed excessive in size for the acreage of the site, and they didn't provide details in terms of what they were looking for. If I'm going to go through the report a little bit more, the applicant did respond to that, and they did provide specific square footages to what exactly they're going to store in the barn and how much room they need.
And Matt, I think one of the other questions was that, now you know how I would feel at the end.
Go ahead.
Was that not all the equipment that they're currently storing on the property is going into this barn. They're also leasing another facility somewhere.
I'll let the applicant speak to that, but from my understanding is that they don't store any equipment, not a lot of equipment is stored there now. The equipment that will be stored in there will be used exclusively for this property, which was...
And did the Ag Advisory have a list of the equipment?
They did. It wasn't as detailed initially. I've since forwarded it to them. I haven't gotten another response, but...
Because I went down that list of equipment, and it seems...
There's a lot of things. It's a
Like,
20-acre, it's a
it's
tree
huge.
nursery, so
And so they're going to be storing equipment outside as well as in the barn.
as far as I know, everything's going to be inside. Yeah. That's what all the square footages were for the interior of the barn.
The square footage of each
Yeah.
one.
And it's only for their equipment. They're not
Correct, they're not
taking
storing
people
equipment,
in
no.
for
It's
other
only
people.
for the site. Fire prevention, just noted that the area is not served by public water mains or fire hydrants, and they asked that the street number is posted on Mitchell Lane. The fire district, Bridgehampton Fire District did ask that an automatic fire alarm system be installed that links to an alarm company. ARB, this was before the ARB on the 18th of December. They had no issues and recommended approval, and have received no response from the Bridgehampton CAC. In terms of site plan standards and zoning requirements, the project meets all the minimum dimensional setback requirements for CR 80. In terms of the use, in response to the comments received from the Agricultural Advisory Committee, the applicant submitted a farm equipment list and area of equipment in square feet, which is as follows. I'm not going to exhaust you with this very long list, but if you go to the very end of it, they do give the totals,
98,
9,889.
which is, kind of just under what their maximum is. I mean, they will need room to move around within the barn, and I find that to be, a justified size.
Where do they have all the equipment now?
It's on another site that they lease. I don't believe it's within the town, but the applicant could speak to exactly, where it is now. Like I said, I found the size to be justified. In order to ensure that the building is used for a bona fide agricultural use, the planning board will impose the following general conditions, which we usually do on these agricultural construction permits: that no topsoil be removed, it's got to be retained on site, no signage shall be installed on site other than indicated street numbers, no living quarters shall be installed on site unless approved by the planning board. All utilities serving the site shall be installed underground from the existing utility located in the street right-of-way. No outdoor storage of equipment within 50 feet of all property lines, and any proposed lighting shall be subject to planning board review and approval. In terms of parking and access, they do access off a 50-foot right-of-way, which is quite long. I've looked at the agricultural easement, I've looked at the subdivision. There's no maintenance agreement, in terms of the driveway, so I know a lot of the neighbors were concerned with the impact of commercial vehicles on the driveway. I don't know if it's something you guys would like to consider as approval, that they enter into an agreement with their neighbors.
Well, we can't bind an applicant to enter into agreement. A, the neighbors may not be willing, and B, they may not come to terms.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
whatever we impose on the
Something on there
applicant
for-
has to be,
discuss.
I don't think they're really, I think it's an internal matter.
Okay.
But down to town road, because if we impose a condition, then we're gonna have to monitor it, enforce it. You know.
Just ask a question.
Sure.
Does this equipment travel to this, work on this site? And
It does now because they don't have any place to store it.
so whenever this
Whatever
equipment
they
is
need,
necessary,
yeah.
this equipment is going to
The
work
applicant should
at
be able to
that site.
specify that, just to tell you exactly what they're doing now, but this is to ensure that they can just store what they need for this site on
For this site. So
Correct.
this isn't equipment that they're using
No,
on
no,
another
this is
site?
all for the maintenance of the
And it's 20 acres?
nursery stock.
20,
20 acres, yeah.
a lot of equipment.
Just one other question.
Sure.
Is the only entrance to the farm is where the building is going to be? I'm looking at it. Is there another one somewhere?
No, it's just, just where the building is going to be. There's two gates, there's that U-shaped driveway, that's where they'll be accessing it. In terms of landscaping, the applicant has submitted a planting plan, which you guys have in front of you, prepared by Hollander Design. The plan shows a number of existing as well as proposed planting on the ag reserve, as well as within the right-of-way. This may not be permitted because it's within the right-of-way, it's not on their property. I mean, I would recommend the applicant install the 25-foot Leland cypresses on the eastern elevation, but this board generally doesn't impose plantings on an ag reserve, just because if we impose them, then if this ever reverts to a traditional field crop, then they're going to have these trees that are on the property instead. Trees
You're
that will
talking
be
about
a farm field, essentially.
Planting along the building, though.
Yeah, planting along the building on the eastern elevation, but they do show it on the planting plan the applicant has offered, I guess, to plant another number of other plantings in order to shield the property, but I wouldn't
Well-
recommend that it's something that the board would require, because it would
But
essentially
we
be
can
taking.
suggest it,
Yeah, we can suggest it,
yeah.
but not necessarily.
Along the
require it.
building, though, even if
Yeah.
it goes to row crops, those plantings would still be necessary.
True, yeah.
So I think we support of at least the build.
Yeah, that's what I recommend, is just along
Yeah.
the building.
Okay.
In terms of lighting, none is proposed. Architecture, the ARB, as I said, indicated approval.
Excuse me, Anthony, Matt, just go back.
Yes.
I thought the community was a little bit, had testified that they were looking for plantings to shield it also from the road. Are we addressing what is?
That's kind of my contention. They're showing on the planting plan, they're showing a number of plants along the fence. It's just not something that this board generally requires on protected
But
farmland.
this is something that the applicant is willing to do and would make the community happy?
Yes, essentially. Yeah.
So maybe it seems
Green-
that everybody wants it. Is there
Yeah.
a reason why
I just-
we're,
Not required, just because it's protected farmland, and then if we're requiring plantings on protected farmland, then it's going to remain there if it goes to row crops. It's just not something
but
we
would that
normally
affect
require.
where the row crops, because it's against the road, isn't it?
Could. It's along the inside of the fence as well.
Well, they have existing vegetation.
They have,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the planting plan right now.
yeah.
It's a wooded area.
I mean, it's not a view shed either, so.
No, yeah,
I mean, if it were a view shed, then we would have something to say about plantings.
absolutely. Okay. It's just not something that this board generally requires.
I would leave it alone.
Yeah.
It's just off-site.
Yeah.
It's off-site, it's like along the common driveway, not on-site.
Oh,
So you guys can require on-site planting to block the building and screen it.
Yeah.
okay.
But we're not gonna mandate the off-site planting that they've offered.
Oh, they offered
But
it
they off,
off-site.
that's what I'm saying, they offer.
Off-site,
Yeah.
yeah, off-site.
Okay.
Yeah.
But not-
It's within the right of way. That's what,
Okay.
yeah.
The plantings are actually not even on the property.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they're saying, it's off-site.
Yeah.
That's what I address with, they may not even be allowed to do that because it's offsite.
Well, I'm sure that they have access, that they have an access agreement to do. Okay.
As I said, no outdoor display or sales area are proposed, and the town engineer comments concerning drainage were addressed. And I recommend approval of the site plan with modification, and I have an approval.
Is this the property where Guerrera has a house?
Yeah.
at the
Yes.
end? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what about, this? So it's a private road?
Yes.
But
It's a driveway.
he's been plowing
It's a
it, right,
driveway.
driveway. He's been plowing it,
Yeah.
so he would have to enter into a private agreement with the owner to share those costs or to
Yeah,
share the
if that's
work.
something that's done, so we could
Yeah.
require.
Is your resolution in here?
It should be. If not, I have it.
Yeah.
I could go through all of it or go to the conditions, whatever the board is comfortable with.
Oh, the condition. Oh, yeah, it's in here. It's before the area.
Before the,
Do you have your little deposit box down there?
No, I do not.
Do you have a?
If everybody found it, I'll go through the conditions. In terms of changes to the plan, revise the title of the site plan to J&R Landscaping. Revised dimensional lines between the dry wells, which was an issue called out by the town engineer, on the north side of the building indicated as 28 feet, which appears to be an error. Show drainage structures within the access driveway. The site plan must show drainage for impervious surfaces for a 2-inch rainfall event, including elevations of castings. And revised site plan to show and note the 4 proposed 25-foot leadland cypresses along the eastern elevation of the proposed barn. General conditions.
The resolution.
No topsoil shall be removed from the site. Topsoil shall be retained and distributed around the exterior of the proposed building or otherwise on the site as necessary, provided that the removal of subsoil or the installation of storage drains to control runoff from roofs and other impervious areas for sanitary systems shall be allowed. No signage shall be installed on site other than a sign indicating street numbers. No living quarters shall be installed on site unless approved by the planning board. All utilities serving the site shall be installed underground. No outdoor storage of equipment within 50 feet of all property lines. Any approved lighting shall be subject to planning board review and approval. The requirement for a pre-construction meeting with the engineering division. Driveway shall be in compliance with IFC and Town Code 33062 requirements. Street number from the property shall be posted on Mitchell's Lane. Install those 4 25-foot leadland cypresses prior to the CO. Install an automated fire alarm system and to be completed prior to signature, submission of the engineering fee, submission of notarized affidavits, and the submission of 6 complete sets of plans for signature.
On
think- Go
On
ahead,
E, you have no outdoor storage of equipment within 50 feet of all property lines?
Yeah.
What about no outdoor storage? I mean, the whole purpose of the barn
Yeah.
is to,
I don't know if you can do that on a farm.
It'd be, yeah, I think we'd be hard pressed to,
Yeah.
on a farm, because there generally might be something they could leave out overnight, carts or tractors.
One
or
of the concerns is that this building would be used for landscape.
Other
So
landscapers.
do we restrict that by covenant, or is that, would that be a condition?
We can do that as a condition, no landscaping business shall be, I mean, it
No.
was my confusion was, the name of the site plan is J&R Landscaping, they don't appear to be, proposing a landscaping business, maybe that was just,
Well, let's state what the building is for then. The building is strictly for the storage of strictly for the storage of equipment used in conjunction with agricultural production, the running of any business
for that site.
For that
Yeah.
site.
for that site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that they
The
really
running of, the operation of any business is prohibited.
is
Yeah, yeah.
prohibited.
So
And that
if they
should be,
have an office,
is that a
it can't be there.
conditional,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
condition or covenant?
it'd be a condition.
We can do
Condition.
it both, I
Or
mean, we
both.
can make it, we can make it a covenant.
Covenant is stronger.
Well, the covenant will at least run with the lands, and
Yeah.
a subsequent owner would know about it.
Right.
It's,
Remember, it's a permitted use.
it's a permitted use, and there's an agricultural easement that does speak to that already.
But we've had an instance with a similar situation where the
Yeah.
barns were being used to,
Right.
Yeah,
for
so a lot of
landscapers,
Special
their
trade
mowers and
contractors.
Yeah.
special trade contractors. They were leasing out the space, and so
Yeah.
it turned into a big mess.
Yeah, So whatever you.
We'll do it as a covenant then.
Yeah.
Covenant. That'll be submitted prior to signature.
So it's for storage of agricultural equipment.
Strictly for the storage.
Strictly
of
for the site.
Storage of
Used
agricultural
on site.
equipment used on this site. Does the applicant wish to be
Rob here, Marcinsick.
heard or?
No.
No? Okay,
Okay.
very good. Do we have a motion for approval?
Motion.
Motion by Jackie, second by Blaney, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions? 7 yes. Good job.
Moving on to number 8. Argo Corporation.
Merry Christmas.
Have a good holiday.
Good
too.
holiday. Pass the maps to the right. Remember our
I now
procedure.
have a
Is that what
box.
the building's going to
You
look
have the box.
No cupola, no nothing. It's pretty ugly.
Let's pass the plans to the right. To
Oh,
the right. To the right.
Sorry. To the basket.
The basket.
that famous song, To the Left, to the Left.
8 is withdrawn, right?
8 is withdrawn. I did receive a request from the applicant to
They are they are withdrawing the application?
withdraw the application without prejudice. And I do have a, a small,
It's
We're going
attached to your.
to adopt a resolution
packet.
acknowledging that then?
yes.
Adopted resolution? Very good. Do we have a motion to adopt the resolution acknowledging the withdrawal of the Argo application?
Motion.
Motion by Jackie.
Second.
Second by Robin. All in favor, aye. Opposed, abstentions? We have 7 yes.
That's all I have.
All right.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks,
Happy
Matt.
holiday.
Happy holidays.
Kept trying to figure out where the jingling was coming from.
A little Christmas elf is
Yes,
to the
she's-
podium.
Oh, I have a couple cards.
Elf on the shelf.
You were going to sing, I saw it come across your.
Oh, okay.
now.
Thank you, Jack.
And I ran up here.
I like your necklace.
You're welcome.
So first, I'd like to direct the board to number 14, which is Bridgehampton Associates. We just adopted the pre-submission, but we were already holding, page 78, we are already holding the site plan, so just to schedule the hearing, we need to review the secra first, and then I am recommending to deem it complete. So I have prepared an EF Part 2 and 3, stating that there will be no impacts or small impacts on land use, the intensity and the change of use, the quality of the existing community, which
70.
no
Oh,
and small,
I am 14.
the impact on the critical environmental area. As you know, they are not moving closer to the coastal erosion hazard area, and they meet the crested dune requirement of 125 feet. It will not cause an increase of use of energy. It will not impact water supplies or wastewater treatment. We are requiring that an alternative denitrification system be used on site. It will not impact the historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources. It will also not impact the existing natural resources, water bodies, groundwater, air quality. Also will not increase potential erosion. They have proposed erosion control fencing, and this site is actually much lower than the dune. It will not create a hazard to the environment. And with that, I have prepared an EF Part 3 that can be signed by Dennis.
Okay.
And I have additional findings, which are very similar to the findings that I had in the pre-submission report that we reviewed last week. So just stating that it is in the coastal erosion hazard area, there are clearing restrictions that they are not exceeding, and that also that we are requiring an alternative denitrification system. So I have that for you to sign, Dennis.
Okay. And we adopt a resolution there, then? Is this,
This would be
term-
for a
this is
negative-
determination?
Yeah,
the
negative
declaration.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have a motion for a neg deck?
Motion.
Motion by Jackie,
Second.
second by Phil, all in favor, aye, opposed, abstentions, 7 yes.
And here is that.
Okay,
On the back page. And then next, I have a resolution on recommending deem complete and schedule the hearing for February 14th.
what item is it?
This is item 3, to deem it complete.
Page 11, if you.
Oh, that's the same application. What's the
same-
date?
It's the same application. Proposing a hearing that it be deemed complete and a hearing for February 14th, the first
February
meeting in
February 14th, very good. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Phil,
Second.
second by Robin, all in favor, aye, opposed, abstentions, 7 yes. Thank you. Happy holidays. Did you want to do your site disturbance, number 10?
Sure. Site disturbance, this is development parcel number 59.
59.
So this is in the bottom portion of the southern portion of Riverhead Estates, map 574. This is at 408 Flanders Boulevard. And it is a 14,000 square foot property. It was encumbered by a small wetland, and it had a covenanted buffer. Unfortunately, the property owner was not aware of it, so seeing the ponding on his property, thought it was just road runoff and didn't realize it was a wetland. So they're actually going to reestablish the wetland and wetland vegetation, reestablish the grade, and revegetate within the buffer, which will also put him into compliance with the aquifer protection.
So we have a planting plan. This is kind of like a dual one. Planning reviews all revegetation for the APOD, but this basically went through review with the Conservation Board and through my office because of the wetland implications on the corner of the property. So if you see the survey, you'll see the wetland is a small wetland that kind of used to run
Survey's not-
over the road. Is
I
it not
don't have
coming
a
up?
survey, I'm sorry.
Page 71
70.
for the
I
overhead.
got bumped out.
Oh, no.
I didn't even get
Well,
back
anyways,
in.
it's a small
Yeah.
parcel, Riverhead Estates. In the top northwest corner, there's wetlands. So they're going to basically reestablish the wetland vegetation, and revegetate the buffer.
So when
which
was
will
that,
bring 'em-
they just flagged it again? Or,
It was flagged in '04, and then basically it was kind of, leveled out, and they're actually redoing it. So Marty has approved the revegetation and basically bringing back the wetland, which
Excellent.
will be on the corner of the property. So I am recommending approval, and with the buffer, there'll actually be over the required 25%. So I am recommending approval of that re-veg plan.
Okay, very good. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Gloria. Second by Zuccarelli. All in favor, aye. Opposed, abstentions. 7 yes. You have Cephas and Rambo?
Yes. Number 6.
Page 26.
And sorry, I didn't get to quite finish the resolution because I wanted to work off the filed covenants, which the applicant is getting me, which I will fill in. But essentially, they are required to do utilities, grading, and drainage prior to conveyance of the lot. They would like to convey the lot to one of the neighboring property owners without doing the driveway improvements. So I'll let them talk to you about that on at the hearing. But generally, the subdivider is considered the developer. So the developer is required to grade, put utility and drainage so that it's ready to go for construction. The intent of the neighboring property owner that's going to purchase it is to keep it vacant. So they are requesting that the improvements be done prior to building permit. But I'll let the board absorb that. We do have to hold a hearing on this. It's required by the covenant, but that's the basics of this. So this is really just to set the hearing for that consideration.
Okay, very good. What's our hearing date?
February 14th.
Very good. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Phil,
second,
second by Robin. All in favor, aye. Opposed, abstentions. We have 7 yes.
One recusal, Dennis.
Oh, I'm sorry, 6 yes, 1 recusal. Jackie, recusal.
And
that's it,
I believe that's it.
that's it.
Phil, were you able to sign Peconic Baykeeper?
Yes.
Okay.
Peconic Bay-
That would be a walk-on.
Walk-on signature Peconic Baykeeper is acknowledged. Okay, thanks, Jackie.
Yep, happy holidays.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
You do.
Okay, motion by Robin, second by Phil.
Of 3.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays.
Happy holidays.